Imagine an AI model so powerful, it can not only write flawless code for hours on end, but also generate art, discover drugs, and reason its way through complex problems, often with little to no human input. Now imagine this AI is being put into the hands of everyday users and global corporations alike, setting a new bar for what machines can achieve. But as the world races to embrace this technological marvel, a crucial question emerges. Is humanity truly ready for what comes next? In May 2024, Anthropic, a company founded by OpenAI alumni Dario and Daniela Amode, unveiled its latest AI juggernauts, Claude Opus 4 and Claude Sonnet 4. The headlines were explosive. The best coding model in the world, declared Anthropic. Not only could these models write, edit, and debug code at warp speed, but they boasted advanced reasoning, creative prowess, and a user-friendliness that suddenly made high-level AI accessible to both expert engineers and complete novices. With a sweeping European expansion and investments from Amazon and Google, Anthropic was making its intentions clear: to bring next-generation artificial intelligence to the very core of our digital and economic lives. For most people, the terms AI and coding might conjure images of futuristic robots or shadowy algorithms. But what's happening behind the scenes is both more mundane and more spectacular than most imagine. Claude Opus 4 isn't just a better chatbot. It's a model with a 200,000 token memory, which means it can remember and reason over colossal documents, datasets, or code bases. This isn't just helpful assistant territory. Imagine deploying an AI that works through software development, generates scientific hypotheses, autonomously explores new drug candidates, or assists in designing entire supply chains. Opus 4 offers truly advanced reasoning for coding, said Yusuke Kaji, general manager of AI at Rakuten. When our team deployed Opus 4 on a complex open-source project, it coded autonomously for nearly 7 hours, a huge leap in AI capabilities that left the team amazed. That's not hyperbole. For those on the front lines, the shock is real. Seasoned developers accustomed to wrestling with cumbersome automation tools are suddenly witnessing a machine that not only writes code, but improves, debugs, and explains its logic in terms most humans can follow. For companies, the implications are staggering. Entire development teams might be able to move from months-long projects to weeks or even days, while startups and solopreneurs could punch far above their weight. But Anthropic wants more than productivity boosts. It wants its AI to be resilient and safe. The company is exploring adversarial training methods, ways to make Claude harder to trick or jailbreak. Why does that matter? Jailbreaking is the act of manipulating an AI to perform actions its creators never intended, sometimes with dangerous or unethical results. In a world where AI models are growing smarter and more independent, this fight for control takes on a new urgency. While benchmark scores are useful, the real test of these models lies in their ability to handle complex, real-world scenarios with minimal human intervention, says Gary Marcus, an influential AI researcher. And he's right. Every new leap in AI brings new risks, some obvious, others deeply unpredictable. Will the Claude models live up to their promise, or are we setting ourselves up for a fall? Let's rewind for a moment. Artificial intelligence as a field has lurched forward in waves, from the early days of simple automation to today's versatile, context-aware language models. The big breakthrough came when scientists figured out how to train transformers on massive datasets, giving rise to models that can understand language, images, code, and even music. OpenAI's GPT-3 and 4, Google's Gemini, and Meta's Llama have all captured headlines, but Anthropic's Claude family? They're the new contenders, and they're coming in hot. Founded on a commitment to responsible AI, Anthropic set out to address what it saw as OpenAI's growing commercialism and ethical blind spots. Its founders believed that as AI systems became more capable, the risks of misuse, bias, and uncontrolled behavior would only multiply. So, Anthropic embedded safety and transparency into its design philosophy from day one. The company's expansion into Europe, particularly Dublin, is no accident. It's a region with robust tech infrastructure and forward-thinking regulatory frameworks. But what actually makes Claude 4 so different? First, its dual operating modes. Users can opt for near-instant replies or instruct the model to think more deeply, trading speed for depth. This flexibility makes it equally appealing for quick customer support tasks and complex research problems. Crucially, Opus 4's massive 200K token context window means it can process and reason over huge chunks of data, a critical edge for coding, legal analysis, and academic research. According to Anthropic, Opus 4 doesn't just write code, it powers tools developers love, automates debugging, and even mentors beginners chasing their first digital dream. It's not just hype. On independent benchmarks like the LMSYS chatbot arena, Claude Opus 4 is outscoring many rivals, not just in technical capability, but also in creativity and reasoning. Tao Zhang, co-founder of Chinese AI player Manus, put it bluntly. Claude Sonnet 4's ability to follow complex, multi-step instructions and work through problems with clear chain-of-thought reasoning is remarkable. The aesthetics of the artifacts are really excellent. I've never seen anything like it. But the reach of Claude 4 is more than just code and chat. The model is now being integrated into robotics, opening up the possibility for machines to reason through and execute complex physical tasks in the real world. In scientific research, Claude Opus 4 has been used to accelerate drug discovery and novel materials design, potentially shaving years off timelines that have always limited human progress. And let's not forget the creative frontier. Claude 4 can generate music, visual art, and written works that challenge our very notion of human creativity and authorship. Pause for a moment. This is all exhilarating but also terrifying. The technology promises efficiency, creativity, and opportunity on a scale we've only dreamed about. But it's also a Pandora's box. The practical applications of AI in coding and automation are immense, notes Andrew Ng of Landing AI. But we need to address the ethical implications of job displacement and ensure a just transition for workers. Imagine a world where entire industries can be automated. Customer support, logistics, research, even creative roles. None of these jobs are immune. Many experts are already warning that without thoughtful planning, the same models that bring opportunity could leave millions scrambling as their skills become obsolete overnight. And that's before we address the even thornier issue, trust. AI systems are only as good as the data they're trained on. Bias, misinformation, and unexpected behaviors can creep in silently, only to cause havoc at scale. Fei-Fei Li, co-director of Stanford's Human-Centered AI Institute, warns, "It's crucial to develop AI with a human-centered approach, focusing on societal benefits and addressing potential biases and fairness issues." Anthropic claims it's up to the challenge. The company is working on bias detection, enhanced monitoring, and safety research. It's also collaborating with NGOs and governments to set global safety standards. Rate limiting and misuse monitoring are being rolled out to prevent the kind of catastrophic AI failures that keep ethicists and investors up at night. The hope is that with transparency and robust guardrails, trust will grow as fast as capability. But the reality is more complicated. Even as Anthropic and rivals tout their safety-first approaches, the hunger for competitive advantage is driving a relentless pace of innovation. Big tech giants are pouring billions into AI arms races, eager to capture the next wave of business applications and market dominance. Fortune 500 companies are racing to integrate these models into everything from finance to logistics, while startups and solo makers sense once-in-a-generation opportunities. The focus on AI safety is commendable, says Yann LeCun, Meta's chief AI scientist. But we also need to ensure that these models are accessible and beneficial to a wide range of users, not just large corporations. This raises some profound questions. Who benefits from the AI revolution? Will society at large reap the rewards, or will power concentrate further in the hands of tech giants and well-funded startups? As Claude 4 and its competitors become central to our economic and social infrastructure, what happens if, or when, things go wrong? Transparency and interpretability are critical, especially in high-stakes sectors like healthcare, finance, and law. Oren Etzioni, CEO of AI2, sums it up. Transparency and interpretability are essential for building trust in AI systems, especially in critical applications like healthcare and finance. Anthropic says it's leading on these fronts, but the stakes keep rising. The more powerful and ubiquitous AIs become, the more catastrophic their failures could be. A single bug, a subtle bias, or a manipulated prompt could have ripple effects across millions of users and billions of dollars. Even as Anthropic steps up its safety research, deploying sophisticated adversarial training to guard against misuse and bias, critics ask, is any of this enough? Are the world's current checks and balances keeping pace with the technology? There's another, even more unsettling question. What happens when these models, designed to be helpers, start to make decisions for us? How do we ensure they remain our servants and not our silent overlords? As the dust settles on the launch of Claude Opus 4 and Sonnet 4, one thing is crystal clear. Artificial intelligence is no longer a niche pursuit. It is a foundational force, remaking industries, economies, and perhaps even society itself. The capabilities are spectacular, but so too are the stakes. So as we stand on the cusp of this new era, the world faces a choice: trust the AI pioneers and embrace rapid transformation, or demand stronger guarantees before letting these systems shape our lives. Which way are we headed? And what happens when the next, even more powerful AI steps onto the stage? As we move into the future shaped by Claude 4 and its peers, the questions only become more urgent and more fascinating. What paths could the world take with such powerful AI models woven into the fabric of our lives, industries, and even our sense of what it means to be human? Let's imagine a few of the most likely scenarios. In the optimistic vision, these advances in generative AI unlock a wave of innovation that rivals the industrial or internet revolutions. Opus 4's 200,000 token context window means it can analyze, generate, and revise entire books, complex code bases, or vast scientific data sets without losing track of detail. That's not just impressive, it's transformative. Picture a future where small research teams, startups, or even solo developers have superintelligence at their fingertips. They could develop new medicines, discover materials for clean energy, or automate business processes that once took armies of specialists. Already, Opus 4 is being used in scientific research to accelerate drug discovery and materials science, with early results suggesting the time to prototype new compounds could shrink from years to weeks. But there's a shadow on the horizon. With every leap in capability, the stakes rise. Experts like Fei-Fei Li stress the need for a human-centered approach. We must ensure that AI serves societal benefit and addresses potential biases and fairness issues. The risk, as she and others warn, is that without thoughtful guardrails, advanced AI could unintentionally reinforce existing social inequities, or even create new ones. One of the sharpest double-edged swords is automation. Claude 4 can already autonomously code for hours, as Rakuten's AI chief Yusuke Kaji found when Opus 4 worked through a complex open-source project unfazed. This suggests that jobs involving pattern recognition, code, or even art could be reshaped, if not replaced, by AI. Andrew Ng puts it bluntly: we need to address the ethical implications of job displacement and ensure a just transition for workers. This means entire sectors may be transformed almost overnight. Think about legal research, financial analysis, grant writing, marketing, or customer support. With models that can match or surpass human ability at these tasks, what happens to the millions employed in them? Will we see a surge of new creative and technical roles, or will even more people be left behind? The answers depend on choices made now. Anthropic, for its part, is set on a path of responsible development. They've collaborated with governments and NGOs to hammer out safety standards, implemented stronger monitoring tools, and are experimenting with adversarial training to harden Claude against jailbreaking, the process by which users try to make an AI break its own rules. But even the best technical solutions can't anticipate every abuse or accident. Gary Marcus, a leading voice in AI skepticism, reminds us, benchmark scores are useful, but the real test of these models lies in their ability to handle complex, real-world scenarios with minimal human intervention. In other words, the wild card is not how Claude 4 performs under lab conditions, but how it's used when let loose in the world by millions, each with their own motives. Now imagine some less desirable futures. Malicious actors could exploit Claude's reasoning power in cyber attacks, scams, or to generate targeted misinformation at scale. While Anthropic is investing in rate limiting and abuse monitoring, no system is perfectly secure. The more capable the AI, the higher the reward for those who find workarounds. And what about bias? Each new model is trained on unimaginably vast data sets, absorbing both the wisdom and the flaws of human culture. Anthropic claims to be making strides in bias detection, but as even Oren Etzioni points out, transparency and interpretability are essential for building trust, especially in critical areas like healthcare and finance. When critical decisions are made by or with the help of AI, a hidden bias could have catastrophic effects. There's also the question of access. Will Claude 4 and its successors become expensive tools monopolized by tech giants and well-funded corporations, or will their power be broadly distributed? Yann LeCun has argued, We must ensure these models are accessible and beneficial to a wide range of users, not just large corporations. If not, AI could worsen the digital divide, leading to a superclass of AI-enhanced elites and a vast majority left behind. All of these scenarios hinge not on technology alone, but on the values we embed in its development. Yoshua Bengio puts it succinctly: we need to prioritize ethical considerations and develop robust safety measures to mitigate risks. Without this focus, unchecked AI could spiral into a force that erodes privacy, weakens democracy, or creates new forms of inequality. But let's pull the lens back. What does all this mean for you, right now? First, these advances are not some distant prospect for scientists and coders alone. Already, tools powered by Claude 4 are being integrated into productivity suites, content creation platforms, robotics, and apps for ordinary consumers. Anthropic's own messaging is that creative power is, for the first time, in the hands of everyone who wants to build. If you run a business, the practical impact could be profound. Tasks like writing marketing copy, analyzing contracts, or handling customer queries can be automated, freeing up staff for more strategic work. Even solo entrepreneurs can tap into these tools, leveling the playing field against larger rivals. For example, a small e-commerce shop owner can use Claude-powered assistants to generate product descriptions, manage inventory queries, and draft social media content with a single click. Students and researchers can use Claude to digest complex academic literature, summarize findings, or design experiments. With its huge context window, the model can track intricate chains of reasoning, making it an invaluable study partner for STEM, law, or the humanities. Imagine asking Claude to explain a dense scientific paper or debate the merits of two philosophical arguments instantly. For coders, the new era is nothing short of revolutionary. Advanced models like Opus 4 can write, debug, and optimize code in real time. Even non-programmers can start automating processes, building simple apps, or exploring data analytics by leveraging natural language prompts. The days of needing deep technical skills to harness computational power are fading fast. But with great power comes new responsibility. As these tools become more widespread, it's vital to develop a habit of critical engagement. Always validate information provided by AI, and be cautious of over-reliance. A good practice is to treat AI's output as a first draft or a suggestion, not gospel. This is especially true for content that carries ethical, legal, or personal consequences. It's also more important than ever to stay informed. The landscape is evolving quickly. New safety features, ethical guidelines, and regulations are being introduced almost monthly. Users who keep up to date and understand both the opportunities and pitfalls will have a distinct advantage, whether in business, academia, or creative work. If you're worried about job displacement, now is the time to future-proof yourself. Invest in skills that complement AI, like critical thinking, emotional intelligence, interdisciplinary knowledge, and creative problem-solving. These are areas where human intuition and judgment remain vital, even as machines become more capable. For those who want to contribute to making AI safer and more ethical, there are growing opportunities to participate. Anthropic and other companies are seeking feedback from users, transparency advocates, and researchers. Involvement in discussions and policy shaping is not just for industry insiders, it's becoming a collective responsibility. So, standing at the edge of this new era, how do we answer our opening questions? Who benefits from the leap Claude 4 represents? Can its risks be contained, and what might an unchecked future hold? Ultimately, the benefits will flow to those who are proactive. Businesses and individuals who embrace the technology thoughtfully, combining AI's power with human values, will pull ahead. But society at large must stay vigilant. If access is broad, safety standards strong, and ethical voices included, the promise of AI can be realized for all, not just the privileged few. Can the risks be contained? No solution is perfect, but the combination of robust technical safeguards, transparency, and public engagement offers the best path forward. It will require constant adaptation, learning from mistakes, and making hard choices about trade-offs between open access and security. And what about the specter of an unchecked runaway AI future? That's the true risk. Not that machines become our rulers, but that we abdicate responsibility for steering them. The future is being built right now, model by model, policy by policy, user by user. Before we close, here's a secret fact. Claude 4's development team includes not just AI engineers, but also ethicists, neuroscientists, and even artists. Their goal? To ensure the technology doesn't just repeat humanity's past, but helps us write a better future. This multidisciplinary approach is one of the reasons Claude 4's creative outputs, from music to visual art, feel so distinct, and why its safety protocols are more nuanced than ever before. If you're excited or concerned by what you've heard today, the call to action is clear. Get involved, stay curious, try out the tools, learn the risks, and let your voice be heard in the discussions shaping our shared digital future. The next chapter isn't written yet, and each of us has the chance to help decide what happens next. So, what will you do with the power of Claude 4? If you enjoyed this deep dive,